the ones that are.
Morning, we can hear you.
Great, thank you, Sarah. Dawn, do we have a quorum?
I believe we do, Commissioner.
Could you do the roll call, please?
Absolutely. Jerry Abrahams.
Here.
Cindy Butts said she was not going to be able to make it this morning. Alexandra Dahm is not able to make it this morning. Wendy Clark.
I'm here. I'll have to drop in about 40 minutes, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. Phil DeFranzo.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, I'm here.
Thank you. Heidi de Weingart. Kylie Goslin. Claudio Galtieri. Timothy Hodges. Catherine McKinnon.
Here.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno.
Here.
Commissioner Perez. Franklin Perry. Sarah Sanders.
Here.
Lisa Tepper Bates. Greg Ugalde.
Here.
And we do have a quorum in attendance for this meeting.
Thank you. That's it. We're not gonna give them any more vacation. Good morning, everyone. It's really nice to see you all back. Some here present in the boardroom and some by the screen. And I completely forgot how to do this meeting because now I don't have a computer in front of me. I have a big screen. So that tells us something, but I really hope that you had a good vacation, well rested, and you have a lot of ideas, good ideas for us, so that we can continue our work, especially now that we really need to address the issues on affordable housing, workforce housing, and all the above. So I'm gonna have Dawn to do the public comments before we start the meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is the only opportunity on the agenda for the public to provide comments. If you would like to provide a comment, please unmute yourself, or if you're in the room, state your name. To ensure that everyone has the opportunity, comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Hearing no public comments, the public comment period has now ended. Commissioner?
Thank you. Nancy, you were working, right? You were on vacation the whole
time. Here every day.
report.
Yes. Good morning, happy new year. It's great to be here and see the room start to fill up again like days of old. We've had a very busy year in 2022. We got a lot accomplished. This year is shaping to be just as busy and challenging. Just to reiterate or recap, we ran a couple of very large programs on behalf of the state. The first in 2022 and continuing in 23, a federal program called My Home CT. To date, I'm happy to report that we've dispersed and or committed $46 million or 42% of the available funds to over 2,000 families in just over 8 months. We've engaged with numerous stakeholder organizations along the way in not only getting the word out, but in delivering some additional services to aid homeowners applying for this assistance. We also administered Time to Own, a single family down payment assistance program on behalf of the state. To date, almost all funds from 2 rounds of $20 million each have been reserved for 1,100 new home buyers. It appears that from our data that Time to Own was really able to provide lower income households more buying power, which was one of our primary goals for the program. And Also happy to say that some of the backlog that we were experiencing last year with the crush of applications has been resolved, and we're now back to like a 1 or 2 business day lag time in reviewing files. Multifamily team is also working hard to underwrite closed deals. We just received a flood of 9% applications, creatively working to close gaps caused by the current environment. We're working closely with DOH as usual, and I think it's yielding good results. Today, we bring you another resolution that would allow CHFA to close 3 deals initially on behalf of DOH to reduce loan review and cycle time and remove any redundancies in the process. Huge thank you goes out to the team at CHFA, the commissioner and her staff, for advancing this work every single day. We're in the 3rd and final year of our strategic plan. Work is underway to update the Connecticut Housing Needs Assessment, which will inform the programs for our next plan. We're coalescing around some ideas for our next board retreat, hopefully in the spring. We're undertaking some research to propose changes to existing programs, some new programs in the coming months. We're reacting to and being responsive to what's turning out to be a very busy legislative session as everybody sees the need for affordable housing, which is good. And working to operationalize our 2023 goals that the board approved in November. We're going to work harder and smarter in the coming months to bring more affordable housing to the state of Connecticut. Thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Nancy. Any questions?
Hi, it's Phil DeFranco. I have one.
Sure, go ahead.
On the My Home CT, what is there a time limit to the use of those funds? And if there's 44% of that 44 million has been so obviously it's 100 million, is that correct? And what happens if we don't use those? If there is a time limit, if we don't use those funds, can they be applied in some other way or some other fashion?
Sure. So we have until September of 2025 to commit the funds. So we have a couple more years or almost 2 years. And it is my belief that we will utilize funds in one form or another. And we are looking at alternative allowable programmatic uses of the funds. And at the moment, it is too early to say that we will switch gears and use another strategy, but we are continuing to monitor that.
Got it. Also, I just want to make one comment. As people know, I own a lender that did participate in the time to own program, and I just want to compliment everybody in the way that it was done, because to introduce it and to have it done so quickly, we also, and not to compare agencies, but we actually work with Mass Housing, for example, had a very similar program they called Mass Dreams. And quite honestly, the way that ours was rolled out in comparison to theirs, I can't even begin to tell you how bad it was and how hard it was. So just wanted to give a huge compliment to everybody on the single family team.
Thank you. Much appreciated.
And if you want to hear some horror stories, call me. I'll give you some.
No,
But he's not comparing.
no,
But I'm not comparing. Exactly.
Bro, and you're gonna tell us bad things about the other person, right?
Thank you.
No, I think.
Commissioner, to follow on that comment, is this going to be a permanent program? Would there be additional rounds of funding?
Right now, the plan is to continue the program. The governor really likes the efficiency that we created with CHFA, and that we didn't create different systems and processes, but actually we streamlined the process that we had in existence. And it was in one place you can get basically approval for the lending and the down payment assistance. Also, is the forgivable loan that helps to create equity into those families after 10 years. So that is really very, the governor has been very pleased with the results. So for now, we're going to continue. We'll see what we'll do next year, but this year we're hoping to continue the program.
And how does it look? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, and do we have any sort of an advocacy role? Do we reach out to the governor or to legislators to say, you know, there's a good story to be told about this, there is efficacy in administration, but more importantly, we're reaching lower income folks. Is there anything we do, or should we just wait around to see if a decision is made as to whether the program is continued and funded?
Thank you for that question, Wendy. We want to do a little more marketing. We want to make sure that the governor hears the stories, especially of families that have been able to acquire a home for the first time. So we'll try to plan some more marketing around that. I think the legislators, and if you have people that you know and talk about it, it'll be a great marketing tool just to keep raising the profile of the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other
Just
comments?
today, and I was just going to ask, how does time to own then compare? What's the outlook for that after the first 2 rounds?
That's,
Oversubscribed.
oh, that's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, I think
Oh,
there's,
so
there's continued.
I thought Phil had asked about My Home Connecticut program.
No.
No.
I think the question was about time to own and continued funding for it.
Oh, no, mine
Okay,
was,
so
mine was My Home CT.
yeah, that's what I thought. My
Yeah.
Home CT was the 100 million. And then I think we just combined time to own, right? So, but both of them are going to be looked at and tried to continue.
Yeah, my home CT is the foreclosure prevention program with the federal resources that we received from the federal government. And that has a deadline up until 2025.
Correct.
But I guess my question was that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but my question was kind of geared to the fact that my understanding with the federal funding was that it can be used for other purposes than just for foreclosure prevention, correct? So like you could potentially, if we didn't use all the funds, switch it to a different form of affordable housing, or am I incorrect about that?
Yeah, there are other programmatic allowable uses for the funding, and we would look at that. And we are looking at it ongoing.
Okay.
It's too early to switch uses.
But I get it. Yeah, I don't want to lose the money if we didn't end up using it, but it seems like it's going quickly, so.
Yeah, fairly quickly, yeah.
And Greg, do you have any other comment?
No, I was just trying to get everybody on the same page, I think, but yeah, I think it's clear that all the funds are being put to good use, and we're trying to continue that.
Yes, and the time to own is funded by bonds that comes from the administration. But state funds, the state funds. All right, Nandini, are you going to introduce the
Yes.
2022 audit plan?
Yes, our new external auditor from Whittlesley is going to present the 2022 audit plan for the work they're going to be starting this winter. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tom Goldfuss.
Thank you. Glad to be here and to be meeting everybody. I'm with my audit manager, Lindsay Tesler, as well. And we're going to try to be brief to go over this plan. I know you have a large agenda for all the good work you do. And we went over this plan with the Audit and Finance Committee as well earlier, about an hour ago. So we'll give you a high level overview of this, and of course, available for any questions. And then, we're going to commence our audit work. If I don't know who's driving the slides here, but if you go to the 4th page, maybe we can start there. The first couple of pages are some introductory items and some expectations. And again, we went over this with the audit committee, but at a high level, the board, the audit committee, responsible for setting the tone at the top, communicating to us about any known legal or illegal activities, non-compliance concerns. And the way you would do that is the information right in front of you. So our contact information is on this 4th page right here. Like I said, I'm the engagement partner of the team. There's also a second partner, the concurring partner, Lisa Wills. She's basically behind the scenes and is the second set of eyes on what we're doing and really the final person looking at all the deliverables. So you probably won't hear from her, but you'll hear from myself and Lindsay for the most part. We actually have 2 audit managers on this, given it's kind of the size and complexity, and we do this work in the middle of our busiest time of the year. So we try to get as many qualified hands to complete the audit work. So Lindsay's with us today, and she'll take over in just a little bit with going over some of the areas we're auditing. Naomi is another manager of our firm, and really her focus is on compliance. So that's the federal and the state single audits. So in addition to the financial statement audit, which is, you may know, is we follow GASB financial standards, but we do a financial audit of your GASB financial statements. And then we do a couple other audits, but mainly what we do is an audit of your federal programs and then your state programs. So federal single audit and a state single audit. And because of that, we follow government auditing standards in addition to generally accepted auditing standards. Really nothing different than years past, what you're used to with your prior firms. And speaking of your prior firms, we do communicate with your prior firm to transition the knowledge and look at work papers so that we are comfortable with being the balances, look at the audit work that was done. So there is some transition work that we do behind the scenes as well, making sure that the transition from CLA to us goes smoothly. Down below is a brief summary of our audit timing. We did some planning and interim work last December, the week of the 5th. Our year-end procedures or our field work is scheduled for February 27th. So those are the 2 dates there. We also probably will do year-round work in some extent for you as well. Being that we were just engaged later last year, we really got started internally with planning once we were appointed. And during the course of a year, we're always doing things. So we actually do read your board minutes on a regular basis during the year. I imagine we'll have meetings with management as well during the year, even when it's not related to the audit, just so that we know what's going on and we're aware. And we'll probably pick some interim procedures to do next year a little bit earlier than December as well, but that's all to be determined. The main point for you for this audit is the field work February 27th. We have all intention of delivering the audits to you timely as needed. It is a bit of a quick turnaround time, but we have the staffing assigned and dedicated to make that happen for you. If we go to the next page, I'm going to have Lindsay speak, and I know we're given a short budget of time here to talk, so hopefully we're not going too fast, but if anybody has questions, please feel free to interrupt, and with that, I'll have Lindsay take over.
Thanks, Tom. Hi, everybody. Like Tom said, we're just going through high level, so our responsibility, we issue our opinion in accordance with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles as well as government auditing standards. If you want to scroll down a little bit, our planned scope of the audit, we use a top-down risk-based approach. We perform a risk assessment as part of our audit to kind of figure out where the high-level items are that we're going to focus on. We use a materiality threshold, and we use the work of others where possible. And we perform some analytical review procedures over low-risk areas and substantive testing, which is the bulk of our work. Confirmations, GL reconciliations, etc., fall into this category. The next section here, fraud risks, I think as Tom was alluding to, huge risk in our audit. As we mentioned to the Finance and Audit Committee this morning, kind of as the board as well, it's your responsibility to let us know if you have any views on the risks of fraud, knowledge of any actual suspected or alleged fraud, any whistleblower matters, or if there's been any communications from regulators or third parties. We obviously don't expect anybody to speak up here, but as Tom noted, our information is within this packet, so please feel free to reach out to Tom or myself at any time, either after this meeting or if something comes up down the line, we're always available. Again, I think we can move to the next page here. These are our critical accounting and auditing areas. We've identified 9 this year, which seems like a lot, but given your size and complexity, it fits. We focus primarily, like our biggest ones will be management override of controls. So we'll test some journal entries, making sure they're approved and appropriate. We'll use data analytical software to look for any unusual trends. And we also focus a lot on the state and federal single audits. We'll look at your controls as well as making sure you're complying with all the major programs. I won't go through the rest of these because there's a lot of information, but if people have questions, certainly we're here. And then this last piece here is just recent accounting pronouncements, the GASB statements and their effective dates. There's nothing that really needs to be worried about here, but we just wanted to provide it for everybody's reference. And I think that's the end of our presentation. Tom and I will take any questions if anybody has any.
Thank you. Any questions? No questions? Great. Well, welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation.
Just want to ask one question. Is it okay if we sign off? I just wanted to make sure that it's okay if
No,
we
you can stay
jump
here
off the call.
for hours.
Lindsay will stay.
No,
I'm double dipping on meetings today, so I apologize. I'm sure everyone knows what that's like.
all right, thank you. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you. Look forward to it. Bye-bye.
All right, so next is final audit committee. We have 2 action items, and Hasim is going to present both of them. So Hasim.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. I have 2 resolutions for the board's consideration. The first resolution is to authorize CHFA to issue up to 150 million of the Housing Mortgage Finance Program bonds. The sale will allow CHFA to raise 150 million of lending proceeds for its first-time homebuyer program. As of January 17, CHFA has an aggregate net pipeline of about 180 million. CHFA intends to utilize a fixed rate structure and expects to close around March. Bank of America has been assigned as the book running manager for the issuance. The resolution was presented to Finance Committee, and the committee did ask one question regarding the bond structure. The resolution was approved by committee with 1 abstention. I'll be happy to answer any questions the board may have regarding the recommendation.
Thank you, Hasim. Questions, comments? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll move.
Have a
Second.
Questions, comments? Dawn, could you do the roll call, please?
Of course. Jerry Abrahams.
Aye.
Wendy Clark.
Yes.
Phil DeFranco.
Yes.
Heidi DeWeingart. Kylie Goslin.
Yes.
Tim Hodges.
Aye.
Kathy McKinnon.
Aye.
Commissioner Mascaro Bruno.
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes.
Franklin Perry.
Yes.
Sarah Sanders.
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates.
Yes.
Greg Ugalde.
Yes.
Thank you,
Vote.
Dawn.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you. Motion carries. Hasim, next resolution.
Yes, thank you. So the second resolution pertains to the private activity bond volume cap. Last December, the State Bond Commission awarded CHFA $87,646,268 of unused 2022 private activity bond volume cap. To preserve the award, the Internal Revenue Code requires CHFA to file its carry forward application by February 15th. We are recommending the approval to carry forward 100% of the award for multifamily. In addition, on December 22nd, the Census Bureau announced the state experienced an increase in population by 20,608 residents. The increase impacted CHFA 2023 tax exempt volume cap allocation and the 9% low income housing tax credit calculation. And the 2023 lending plan has been updated accordingly. The resolution was presented to Finance Committee, and the committee asked one question regarding population impact to CHFA allocation. The resolution was approved unanimously by committee. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
You guys put yourself on mute. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the resolution presented by Hazim?
So moved.
Second by George.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, Dawn, can you please do a roll call?
Of course. Jerry Abrahams.
Aye.
Wendy Clark.
Yes.
Phil DeFranza.
Yes.
Kylie Gosselin.
Yes.
Tim Hodges.
Aye.
Kathy McKinnon.
Aye.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno.
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes.
Franklin Perry.
Yes.
Sarah Sanders.
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates.
Aye.
Greg Agalde.
Aye.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you. Wow, mortgage committee, you guys have been pretty busy, huh? We have five, six. Yes, resolutions that we need to approve. Mortgage committee met, and the resolutions are going to be presented by Pat.
Good morning, Madam Commissioner, board members. As you just heard, we had a rather robust mortgage committee on Tuesday. I'll go through these quickly for you. The first two deals were presented by Liz Valagorski. I'll present them individually. The first is East Modernization. It's 50 units in East Hartford. It was formerly known as Easton Place. This is a preservation deal. The board action requested the approval of tax exempt bonds for the first construction mortgage in the amount of $4.4 million at a rate of 5.5% for 24 months. In addition, we asked that the committee approve tax exempt bond proceeds for construction term loan in the amount of $550,000. That was for 24 months interest only, and then it would convert to a 35-year amortizing permanent loan, and the rate would be not more than 6.3%. We also asked that the board approve the modification of extension of the existing ITA debt on the property. It's $1.475 million. And we have to go with the rate of the existing rate of 3.5%, or it's the greater of the existing rate of 3.5%, or the applicable AFR. And we will also, this would be coterminous with the new first mortgage, and we will be eliminating the additional interest provisions of the existing loan. And then lastly, we asked that the committee approve up to $1,005,000 in a combination of CMF and opportunity funds. Those funds will be repaid at 1% with up to 25% of available surplus cash after the complete retirement of the deferred developer's fees. This resolution passed unanimously. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the resolution presented by Pat. Don't be shy.
I'll make the motion.
Can I have a second, Kathy? Questions or comments?
So what was the opportunity, CMF opportunity fund contribution?
The total is 1,005,000, and
Million.
we're blending the two, depending on how much is available in CMF funds.
Okay,
So it's a maximum of 1,005,000.
that's big for us for that out of that generally, right?
Opportunity funds, we go up to.
Okay.
Yeah, regular.
Any other question? All right, Don,
Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Wendy Clark,
Yes.
Phil DeFranco,
Yes.
Kylie Goslin,
Yes.
Tim Hodges, Kathy McKinnon.
Aye.
Sorry, is that you, Tim? Okay, Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
yes,
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Aye.
Lisa Tupper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugalde,
Aye.
Tim Hodges. The vote passes unanimously.
thank you. Pat, second one,
Second, this is the second of Liz's presentations. This is 65 units in Hartford. It's West Modernization. It was formerly known as Dillon Place. Again, we asked for tax exempt bond proceeds for construction first in the amount of $4,791,000, interest only during the 24-month construction period at a rate of 5.5%. Additionally, tax exempt bond proceeds for the permanent of up to $1.54 million, interest only for the first 24 months, and then converting to a 35-year amortizing first mortgage, and with an interest rate of 6.3%. Again, we were modifying and extending the existing mortgage on this property. It's currently at $1,070,000, and we would the rate would be either the note rate of 4%, it's the greater of the note rate of 4%, or the applicable AFR. And again, we'll be eliminating the additional interest provisions on the existing note. And then lastly, it's up to $1.5 million of CMF and a combination of CMF or opportunity funds at 1%. And it will be collected through collection of 25% of the surplus cash after the deferred developer's fee has been paid in full.
thank you, Pat. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Have a second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jerry. Any questions?
You know, I just want to say that we really had a robust conversation on these first two applications. It was, had a lot of things explained and we walked through. It really seemed like hands-on and a good opportunity for us to move forward on these two applications.
Thank you, Greg. Any other comment? All right, hearing none. Dawn,
Of course. Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Wendy Clark, Phil DeFranco,
Yes.
Kylie Goslin,
Yes.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
yes,
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Aye.
Lisa Tupper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugalde,
Yes.
Tim Hodges. The vote passes unanimously.
thank you, Dawn. Pat, next one.
Next one. Deb Alter presented this financing request. It's the 5th phase of Village at Park River in Hartford. It's 58 units. We asked that the board approve a permanent only first mortgage of up to $4.1 million in taxable bonds for a construction second mortgage of up to $1 million. I'm sorry, and a construction permanent second mortgage of up to $1 million from opportunity funds. The The first mortgage is $4.1 million, will be at 7.25% with a permanent term of 30 years, amortized over 40 years. The amortization will start at the end of construction or the 25th month. And then it'll continue for 30 through its 30-year permanent term. The second mortgage is $1 million. It's going to be at 1% for the term of 24 months during construction, and then a permanent term of 30 years. We will collect interest at 1% interest will accrue at 1% through the 24-month construction period, and then we'll collect interest of 1% during the 30-year perm term. Again, at 25% of available cash flow from after the deferred developer's fee is paid off. The committee approved this with one no vote, and that came from Cindy Butts. And Nandini and I had a conversation with Cindy yesterday just to go over her concerns, and I think it was a favorable outcome. Her concern was directed at the two waivers that were requested. One of which was for the waiver of the commissioning of an appraisal by CHFA. We used an appraisal that was provided to us by the intended borrower that they received from their syndicator and their lender. It was provided. The provider of the appraisal was a company that's on our list, and the second issue that we requested a waiver on was to retain a third-party independent field observer. And as we're not the primary lender in this, we determined that it was in the best interest of the project not to incur additional costs. So I don't want to speak on behalf of the board member, but she seemed to be okay with our explanation yesterday.
Thank you, Pat. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution presented?
So moved. Second.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
So there's an $8 million, the primary construction financing is by TD Bank, right, on this one? And so we're just gonna rely on their construction oversight.
Correct.
Any other comments or questions?
I got my hand up, Commissioner.
Who's that? Commissioner Harris.
I'm more interested in finding out a little bit more about the appraisal. When you say it was provided to them by the syndicator, who's the syndicator and who?
Oryx Capital.
Okay, and Oryx Capital picked it. They had nothing to do with picking the appraiser, right?
No, we did not, but it was an appraisal.
I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the applicant, or whatever you call the person we're giving the money to.
Correct. Yes, the applicant didn't pick the appraiser.
And the appraiser is in our list, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other question?
I'm sorry, who's the syndicator? The thing says Hudson.
No, it was actually for their original permanent lender,
Okay.
not the syndicator. It is Oryx Real Estate DBA Lumen Capital.
Lumen is the syndicator. For Boston Financial.
Yep.
Yeah.
And TD Bank is involved.
Yes.
Okay. Now, again, I want to make it real clear. Who was the one who ordered the appraisal?
It was the original permanent lender who was.
And that was who again?
It's Lumen.
It's Lumen Capital. Yeah.
So was the lender that picked the
Okay.
appraiser?
Yes.
Original lender, but the current lender is now going to be TD Bank.
No, the current permanent lender will be us because they need the opportunity funds. This was
All right.
the original permanent
Oh, okay.
lender.
There was a gap in the deal and they were seeking a filling of the gap, and CHFA stepped in to become the permanent lender as well as the gap filler. And used the appraisal that the previous permanent lender had commissioned only 6 months ago or less.
It was provided in November. I reviewed the appraisal from start to finish. There's 10 different values. It was a very thorough appraisal.
Lumen does a good job.
Yeah, they did.
Commissioner, you still have your hand up or that was from?
Well,
before?
my point was kind of made, because the reason I has to educate people. The reason I was asking, because I want to make sure that the entity who ordered the appraisal is somebody who's in the business that knows what they're doing. And like the prior speakers mentioned, this particular company does a pretty good job.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that was my concern, is that the person doing the work is somebody who does this for a living and not a sidekick, you know?
Yes, it was the one.
And I don't mean the appraiser, I mean the person ordering the appraisal.
Yeah. Greg?
Yes, I was just going to also point out that the end result was a $40,000 savings by looking at these measures. And when we heard all of that combined with the rest of the application and the whole process, we felt comfortable.
Thank you. And it's not.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if we don't do due diligence right, it could be a big loss to us. So I mean, I think this questions are very legitimate.
Understood.
Warranted,
Right.
You know, a
Right.
good job on
No,
the committee
good point.
if they ask those questions too.
Exactly. Thank you. Greg, you're done or your hand's still up? Okay, thanks. Any other question or comment? Lisa?
Yes, hi, thank you. I just want to add my voice to say that I actually applaud the staff for responsibly finding ways to think in a really comprehensive way about whether or not certain requirements really do need to be impressed or whether there's a way to meet them without requiring extra work. And to Greg's point, it was both a savings and it's a way to streamline. You know, very grateful to Commissioner Perez. We did have a very robust discussion in the committee. Just want to assure you again of that. But I would hate for the staff to be somehow reluctant to think in that creative way. I was really glad that they did. And to streamline the process, I think is a very good thing when they can and when they can do it responsibly, which I think we are doing here.
Thank you, Lisa. Commissioner Perez?
Again, I agree with what Lisa's mentioned, but I want to emphasize the responsible part, right? I don't want us to think outside the box to the point where we take so much more risk than we need to take. Because I can tell you from my professional experience, many times when policies are not followed, it leads to big losses. And I'm not saying that's the case here. Okay, this one makes sense to me. You know, it's an independent party per se. The price is less than 6 months or so, and it's somebody who's in the business. So I do commend the staff and the committee for asking the questions, but I do want to caution that even though it is great to look how to improve the process, because I'm a firm believer in lean, and it's great to look at ways to reduce costs, it should not be done at the expense of putting us at a much higher risk than we really should be on. Because remember, most of these loans already have some component to it that are much riskier than if it was a traditional banking type of financing.
Thank you, Commissioner. Where are we? Don, roll call time.
Of course. Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Wendy Clark, Phil DeFranzo,
Aye.
Kylie Goslin,
Aye.
Tim Hodges, Kathy McKinnon, Commissioner Mosquero Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugalde.
Aye.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, Don. Pat, next one.
Next one.
The next one.
I presented this on Tuesday. I know everybody took a deep breath when they saw Cherry Street, but this is a very positive thing that we have before us. So as a reminder, Cherry Street is 157 units of mixed income in Bridgeport. The perm is already amortizing. It started amortizing in October, and it continues to be paid as agreed. When we met in executive section in October, we discussed the maturing construction loan that matured on October 15th. and some of the strategies that we had in place to address that matured loan. The balance on that loan right now is just a tad over $11 million with accrued interest totaling somewhere around $11.2 million. So what I presented was to accept the 6th and 7th capital contributions from CREA, the investor member of Railroad Avenue. It's the total of the two contributions is $6,551,160. We would use those funds to reduce our $11.2 million construction loan down to $4.5 million. And then thereafter restructure the remaining balance at a rate of 5% with a 40-year amortization and a term of 24 months. All existing guarantees will be reaffirmed. So by doing this, we reduce our current total exposure of $23.7 million, which is a combination of the $12.5 million perm amortizing loan and the $11.2 million construction loan outstanding. And we reduce that total exposure down to $17 million. So all this is going to be very beneficial to reduce our exposure on this asset and provide a path forward to final resolution.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve resolution presented?
So moved.
Have a second. Second.
Second,
Thank you. Questions or comments for Pat?
I sat in, I sat in on the mortgage. And somebody was talking, I think this is the project they were talking about of the effect. I thought whoever spoke about that, I just thought it was pretty cool to hear that about the effect, the positive effect this project is having about in the neighborhood. Am I talking about the right one?
Yes, that was one of the-
yes,
Okay.
that was Lisa, I think, right?
Yeah. No, it just was really cool to hear that because you just look at numbers and it was interesting to hear somebody comment about like how great this is in Bridgeport for the neighborhood. So just wanted to make the comment.
Questions or comments?
It also seems this one is a good resolution of a loan that's had a lot of issues. We're seeing a reduction, still getting built. Lucky that it kind of worked out, but it's a good resolution.
Thank you, Jerry. Any other comment or question? All right, Dawn, could you please do the roll call?
Yep. Jerry Abrahams.
Aye.
Phil DeFronto.
Yes.
Kylie Goslin.
Yes.
Kathy McKinnon.
Aye.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno.
Yes.
Commissioner Perez.
Yes.
Franklin Perry.
Yes.
Sarah Sanders.
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates.
Aye.
Greg Ugalde.
Aye.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you. Pat? Next.
Yeah, the next, Terry Nash presented a reauthorization of our small multifamily CDFI loan pool fund through January 31st of 2024, and this is to permit the participating CDFIs to continue using the program while CHFA staff completes its impact analysis and determines how the program should look moving forward. The reauthorization will include expanding the program in two ways. It will allow 2-unit dwellings where formerly the minimum was 3, and it will allow for properties that are not deemed blighted but are in need of rehabilitation. This program started in 2014. The results were, so to date, just over $10,700,000 has been dispersed with financing 69 properties with a result of 268 units of housing, which is fantastic. And that actually equates to just $40,000 per unit. The program has $7 million remaining, and capital for change and the Hartford Community Loan Fund have several projects waiting to access these funds. So we're going to reauthorize. That's why we're requesting the reauthorization. So this also was approved unanimously.
Thank you, Pat. Have a motion to approve resolution.
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Thank you, Franklin. Any questions or comments? All right, thanks. Dawn,
Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Phil DeFranco,
Yes.
Kylie Goslin,
Yes.
Tim Hodges, Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugalde.
Aye.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, Dawn. And the final resolution, Pat.
The final resolution.
No mas, no mas.
No mas. That's it.
In September, the board approved or authorized the MOA with DOH and CHFA to provide underwriting and technical service review on behalf of DOH for 3 projects: West Hartford Fellowship, Cedar Point 2, and Eagleville Green. These funds were were allotted from the State Bond Commission to DOH. In December, the State Bond Commission approved additional allotments for 3 other properties: Parkside Gables, East Modernization, and West Modernization. These approvals provided that the funds were to be allotted directly to and dispersed by CHFA. The resolution before you proposes to amend the September MOA with DOH to incorporate additional services to be provided by CHFA, including the receipt and administration of the funds by CHFA finance staff, and then the documentation and closing of the transaction into CHFA's name by CHFA legal staff. As the funds will be allotted directly to CHFA, CHFA will have the discretion in the use of and the repayment of the funds. And CHFA will also be required to comply with the Housing Trust Fund statute in the use of these funds. The resolution was approved unanimously.
Thank you, Pat. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution presented?
So moved.
Thank you, Sarah. Second,
Second.
any questions or comments? Dawn, could you do roll call, please?
Of course. Jerry Abrahams,
Aye.
Phil DeFranco,
Yes.
Kylie Goslin,
Yes.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Yes.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Yes.
Greg Ugalde.
Yes.
The vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Pat. You've been busy. I have a resolution for the consent. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Questions or comments on the consent agenda? John, could you do roll call, please?
Jerry Abrahams,
Yes.
Phil DeFranco,
Yes.
Kylie Goslin,
Yes.
Kathy McKinnon,
Aye.
Commissioner Mascara Bruno,
Yes.
Commissioner Perez,
Yes.
Franklin Perry,
Yes.
Sarah Sanders,
Aye.
Lisa Tepper Bates,
Aye.
Greg Ugalde.
Aye.
Vote passes unanimously.
Thank you, Dawn. Before we adjourn the meeting, any comments or questions or anything that we need to bring to the attention to the staff from the board members? No? All right.
I think we should congratulate Commissioner Mosquera Bruno on her reappointment.
Oh,
Yes,
congratulations.
excellent news.
And Commissioner Perez.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Lisa, your hand is up or is down? No, no.
I was clapping for you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I also want to thank the staff. They have done a fabulous job through these 2 months. I think that we're gonna keep working together with the department and CHFA to trying to streamline processes, to trying to find new ways of doing these projects in a more fashionable way, responsibly. So we'll make sure that we do that. And thank you for all of the work that you guys are doing. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move.
Second. Come on, guys. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, well, thank you very much. Have a great rest of the week and a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Bye.